The sun had barely risen over the village of Ndebele when Amina woke to the sound of her stepmother's voice cutting through the morning air. "Amina, have you finished grinding the millet?" Madame Ngozi's sharp tone rang out from the main hut. "We do not have all day." Amina sighed, pushing herself up from her sleeping mat. She had barely slept, thinking about the grand event taking place later that day. Prince Emeka, heir to the throne of Ijuru, was visiting their village as part of his journey to find a bride. Every young woman had spent weeks preparing. Every young woman except Amina, for as long as she could remember. Madame Ngozi had treated her as a servant, keeping her busy with endless chores, while her daughters, Bola and Chinyere, spent their days preening and gossiping. Today was no different. While other girls dressed in their finest wrappers, adorning their hair with cowrie shells and beads, Amina was expected to fetch water, clean the compound, and ensure the household ran smoothly. But fate had other plans. As Amina balanced the heavy water pot on her head, making her way to the stream, she noticed a figure on horseback approaching. She quickly stepped aside, lowering her gaze as custom dictated when royalty passed. But the rider stopped. "You there," a voice called. "Are you from this village?" Amina hesitated before answering. "Yes, my prince." Prince Emeka dismounted gracefully. He was tall, with the confident bearing of a ruler, but his eyes held a gentleness that surprised her. "What is your name?" he asked. "Amina," she answered, shifting nervously. He studied her for a moment before speaking again. "Why are you out here alone while the other maidens are preparing for the gathering?" Amina hesitated. "I have duties to attend to, my prince." His gaze lingered on her as if searching for something beneath her words. Then, to her surprise, he smiled. "Duties are important, but so is being seen for who you truly are. Will you be at the village square later?" Amina's heart pounded. I do not think so." Prince Emeka nodded, but did not press further. "Perhaps we will meet again." With that, he mounted his horse and rode toward the village, leaving Amina standing by the stream, the water pot still balanced on her head, her heart racing. Back home, Madame Ngozi and her daughters were in a flurry of last-minute preparation. Bola adjusted her elaborate head wrap, while Chinyere dabbed scented oil on her wrists. "What took you so long?" Madame Ngozi snapped when she saw Amina. "You are as slow as a tortoise. Go and pound the yam, quickly!" Amina bit her tongue and obeyed. As she worked, she could hear the excited chatter outside as villagers gathered to greet the prince. A pang of longing filled her chest, but she pushed it aside. It was not her place to dream, but destiny had a way of unraveling even the most carefully woven plans. That evening, when the festivities had ended and the prince had met all the eligible maidens, he made an announcement before the village elders. "I have met many wonderful women today," he said, "but there is one whose strength and humility stood out to me." He paused. Amina gasp rippled through the crowd. All heads turned, searching for the girl no one had expected to hear named. Madame Ngozi's face darkened. "There must be a mistake," she hissed to Bola and Chinyere. But the prince had spoken, and no one could challenge his word. Amina was brought forward, her heart pounding so loudly she could barely hear the murmurs around her. She kept her gaze lowered, not daring to believe what was happening. The prince smiled at her. "You are unlike anyone I have met. I see wisdom and strength in you, and I would like to know you better." Amina's voice caught in her throat. She could feel Madame Ngozi's glare pouring into her, but for the first time in her life, she did not lower her head in submission. Instead, she met Prince Emeka's gaze and said, "I will be honored, my prince." The village erupted into cheers, though not all voices were joyful. Madame Nosy and her daughters sulked in the shadows, unable to comprehend how the girl they had treated as a servant had become the one chosen by the prince. Amina's journey was far from over. There would be trials ahead, jealousy to face, and doubts to overcome. But for the first time, she felt hope bloom in her heart. Perhaps she was meant for more than a life of servitude. Perhaps, just perhaps, fate had chosen her for something greater. And so, with the stars above them and the village buzzing with excitement, Amina's new story began. A tale of resilience, destiny, and the power of a kind heart in the face of adversity.